Councilor Ortega said it was all he had. Next item is public comments. It's the policy of the governing body to accept public comment. Because your issue is not on the agenda, the governing body cannot respond immediately, but may direct staff to address issues at a future council meeting. Public comments are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. Have anyone here for public comment?
Just curious, do they have to sign up for that?
No.
Good afternoon. My name is Honorio Justin Rael. Yes, sir. Good afternoon. My name is Honorio Justin Rael, and I was born and raised here in Questa. And I am here today because I have ethical concerns regarding the functioning of this body and to voice my opposition to the proposed hydrogen project. First off, I'm going to read some statutes that this body should be aware of. Quote, full disclosure of real or potential conflicts of interest shall be a guiding principle for determining appropriate conduct. At all times, efforts shall be made to avoid undue influence and abuse of office and public service. That comes from NMSA statute 10-16-3 subsection C. Next, governing body members, including mayors, must recuse themselves when a true or perceived conflict of interest exists regarding an item currently being deliberated by the governing body. That comes from NMST statute 3-12-2. The mayor has a conflict of interest in the hydrogen project. He is negotiating with Kit Carson on behalf of the Village of Questa while being employed by Kit Carson. He's representing both sides of the transaction regardless of whether he benefits financially. Now case law in New Mexico surrounding ethical conflicts is sparse. However, I was able to find some. In Kennecott Copper Court versus the town of Hurley, the New Mexico Supreme Court held that municipal officials may participate in decisions affecting their employers, but only when a proper disclosure of a conflict of interest is made. According to NMSA statute 3-60A-17, a disclosure is proper when the official immediately provides written notice to the local government of the conflict and it is entered into the meeting minutes. Further, the conflicted official may not participate in any action by the local government affecting the matter in which they have an interest. In a meeting on March 10th, there was a vote to approve an application to the local solar access fund, and the mayor casting the deciding vote after deadlock. The mayor has this authority to break a tie in all circumstances unless the mayor has declared a conflict of interest. No conflict of interest was declared in these meeting minutes, despite there being multiple. First off, the mayor voted on a measure that will lock the village into contracting with Kit Carson in the future since they hold a monopoly on electricity in the county. Second, the mayor unilaterally submitted this application on March 6th without the council's approval. Usually this is okay if the council ratifies the conduct later on. However, the mayor voted to ratify his own unauthorized grant application, which is both a true and perceived conflict of interest because the mayor benefits from validating his own improper conduct. This measure should have failed for a lack of a majority. To conclude, I have prepared a list of additional ongoing ethical and OMA concerns. Should the council choose to extend my time limit, since these are ongoing issues, feel free to respond. Either way, I'm asking you, the mayor, to formally recuse yourself from all negotiations regarding the hydrogen project and solar array project to provide full transparency to the community. And further, I ask the council to void measure 2026-07.
Anyone else for public comment?
Out of order. Wow. That's a hard act to follow, but right on. Mr. Rael, I'm glad you are here because we've been asking for questions and our mayor has been silent for months. I don't know if that's a personality or a secretive behavior, I don't know. I'm here representing the voice of the silent. We have over 1,000, I don't know how many now, people have signed a petition against moving forward with, and we'll just start with solar panels. Over 1,000.
How much you need?
I don't know, but the point is, people are insecure. They're not coming out of their houses to be here. So we come and represent. It's not that we're the only ones fighting. We're just representing. And it's not a very comfortable position to be in. If we could get the whole city of Village who is against these projects that are involved with Kit Carson and other private companies, this place would be flooded, and would make national news. Like I said, a lot of people are very insecure in this town, and they're silent, and that is why we are here. Now, when you took office, Mayor, we voted for you and the whole council. We want good representation. We deserve good representation. We have invested into this town. We have invested. Some of us are full life savings to get a home in this town. We are the ones who fix up our properties. We volunteer in the fire departments. We help in the food banks. We pick up trash. We cut trees so there's less fire mitigation. We work the land because we like it here. Some of us may be new, but we have pride in Questa. And we see a future. And the youth of the future, like this young man here, we want to protect it, for this is our future. There's a lot of bright young people coming forward, and they will be hearing and learning and practicing alternative energies. So let's keep our minds open, and let's not build a dinosaur that we're going to regret in 5 years or 10 years or maybe forever. Something that we can't take apart, something that may pollute our land even more or destruct our wildlife. I mean, if we make this mistake and start building and building these kind of things without proper assessment, it's too late. And I want to cuss, then we would have really messed up in our future, who will be having children too. Questa has a lot of potential. Now, the last thing I want to say, Mayor, when you took office, it's there April 22nd in the Questa News. You say you will keep an honest, open, and transparent office. And we all said, yeah, that's what we want. And now we're in 26 and we're fighting for that. And the last thing I want to say is, we haven't heard about your meeting with the mayor. I know it was on the schedule. I mean, the meeting with the council, the war chief of the Pueblo. We'd like to hear about that.
Can you state your name for the record?
Jaya Maxwell. Yeah, we'd like to know how that meeting went. We heard it was on the agenda. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mariquita. Greetings. Per Canary Media, according to energy experts, converting clean energy into hydrogen to use that hydrogen to generate electricity later is in most cases a bad idea. The main concern is the process wastes enormous amounts of clean power in pursuit of zero carbon. That's a problem because several utilities are using these plans as a rationale to continue investing in new plants. The fundamental problem lies in the law of physics. Between 50 to 80% of energy value of clean electricity is lost in the process. Hydrogen is three times more expensive than making hydrogen via steam. Trump administration is threatening to cut billions for hydrogen hubs and phasing out tax incentives. Major projects are getting canceled. Companies are struggling. Hydrogen can emit dangerous nitrous oxide. Large-scale hydrogen power plants are less than 15 years old. Long-term data on safety and efficiency is scarce. This technology has no long-term studies. Per the driller, New Mexico's water beneath the surface is running out. Experts say a supply crisis is looming. A new groundwater report is surrounding the alarm in New Mexico, warning that shrinking aquifers, limited data, and fragmented management are pushing the state towards serious water supply crunch. Released by the New Mexico Groundwater Alliance, the report lays out just how much the state depends on groundwater and how little is currently being tracked to coordinate and protect it. More than half of New Mexico's water supply comes from underground sources. Roughly 80% of water systems rely on groundwater for drinking. Years of drought, rising temperatures, growing industrial demand, contamination threats are accelerating aquifer declines. Groundwater losses are reaching crisis levels. Less than half of groundwater withdrawals are metered, making it difficult to understand how fast aquifers are declining. It calls for major investment in aquifer mapping, monitoring, data systems to give communities tools for long-term planning. It urges development of a comprehensive groundwater management framework that sets basin-level goals based on science, local conditions, and community input. With climate pressures intensifying and demand rising, better data, coordinated policy, and community-driven management are critical to keep taps running and farms productive. Without these changes, we face depleted aquifers, declining water quality, disruption to water system. In January, the UN declared our world has entered an era of global water bankruptcy, meaning damage is irreversible. We are using more water than nature can replenish. Aquifers are in long-term decline. 4 billion people live with water scarcity. That's half of the total human population. The 2016 Taos Regional Water Plan shows that 80% of our water supply is provided by surface water, primarily precipitation and snowmelt. That was 10 years ago. Why are they only studying a 2-mile radius of water impact? Kit Carson said it's doing an aquifer study. Can we see those results prior to proceeding? This plant will waste 9 out of 10 gallons of clean water. It will use 1 billion gallons in 30 years. Per New Mexico State Engineer Office, in New Mexico, water belongs to the public. Water rights are protected by law. Climate change will likely result in more severe drought conditions and predicted to result in less availability of water and impacts to water quality in the long term. Do your part, every drop matters, unquote. Water is not being replenished and groundwater can no longer be treated as an invisible backup supply. Thank you.
Anyone else for public comment?
Mayor, councilors,
Can you state your name for the
my
record?
name is Dylan Ortega.
Okay.
I am a lifelong resident of the Village of Questa. When we first came to this village, people were always asking, Kit Carson was going to do the internet. Why did we need the Kit Carson internet? Nobody needed internet. And now we can't live without it. When the village tried to bring the sewer system in, I didn't want the sewer system. It's right next to my house. But you know what? I voted for it because it benefits the village. Just as I believe this hydrogen plant will benefit the village. Kit Carson is really not having much to do with it. It's the Village of Questa. And lady, I did the honor of listening to you flap your thumbs all the time that people were talking. You can at least be quiet while other people are talking.
Please be respectful.
You should be. Anyway, I hear the young man talk about, the outvote, whatever the New Mexico statutes are that the mayor can't vote. I hear somebody else talk about the water that is, the aquifer can't be replenished. Yes, water is life. Water is very important. But so is our village. If we don't have money to bring our staff up to where they should be paid, if we don't have, we're always complaining that we don't have money for police. We can't pay them. Once we get them, we send them to school, and then they get paid more somewhere else, so that we lose the police. We don't have money for fire people. We don't have money to run our village. But no, we're too busy trying to figure out how to stop a hydrogen plant instead of working together to see what can be done and how to better our village. No, all I hear is naysayers. And somebody saying there's thousands of signatures. Well, I'll tell you what, I belong in Questa. I've been here all my life. And I talk to everybody here also. And they want the hydrogen plant. They see the positive portions of this plant. They're not just saying, oh, it's a monster, it's whatever. It's going to be right across from my house. But do you see me crying and complaining that it's going to be big, it's going to be all kinds of stuff? No, it's for the betterment of our village. Instead of all of us crying and saying, oh, it's too much, we can't do it. You know what, this village has not gone dry since we've been here. When did
Councilor,
it go dry?
please be respectful.
I've lived for my life, and I've always had water, so I can't imagine where. I belong to Yes and Yes. I have village water. So I believe water is important.
Thank you, Ms.
The
Coggins.
safety of the village is important, but so is our village. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Coggins.
We agree. The village is important.
Good evening, Jessica Joseph here. Again, very grateful always for public comment. 3 minutes goes quickly. The lady's statements just now are a pure example, I'm so sorry to say, but of the lack of education and the ignorance of the community members not understanding what the project is about. I don't mean that to be insulting, it's just fact. It's fact, because she just said this isn't even KCEC, it's the Village of Questa, and that's where I laughed, because this, we all know, if you've read any of the legal documents, is fully a KCEC project. So this kind of ignorance and lack of education is massive within your community. And while she knows about it and she's greatly misinformed, there are even more people like her that don't even know that the project exists. So what I want to talk about tonight in my 2 minutes left, like when this group that talks about having chats and conversations to find out what the community wants, but then they said talking with the councilors. Okay, you are all at large. You don't have districts within the village. So my question is, how are you finding out what the people want? How are you actually representing what the people want? Whether it's with this deal that was going on, I'm sorry I came in late, I'm not real well tonight, or if it's with the hydrogen plant, or anything else that might possibly be presented to this community. I had a vision, and I have a vision of leadership in this community actually reaching out to the people and saying,
We do.
what do you want? What do you want? A survey that goes home to every single person and says, what is your 50-year or 100-year vision? Do you even want to be industrial? Because Questa was only industrial for 100 years. It has a much longer history without being industrial. I mean, I sat in that EPA meeting and I listened to what the people in this community have gone through. And I've been around other Superfund communities to know what the people go through. And quite honestly, I don't understand how any single one of you up there could wish this upon the people and the children and the future generations. I quite honestly can't get it. Why? Okay, I listened to you. I re-listened to the recording of the October 3rd meeting the other night, because you give some very misleading information saying the Chevron mine when you mean the tailings. Okay? But sorry, didn't mean to move that. But in that meeting, you talk about all the short-term benefits. Have you ever been in a boom-bust community? And after that, there's nothing. I ask you why, to really think about why you're supporting this.
Good afternoon. My name is Ron Lucero. I've been here over 50 years. I'm against this thing. Who in their right mind would take such a risk with the future of our grandchildren? I put a lot of money and a lot of time into this community with several properties, 3 wells, and a lot of them are already going, well, they've lost a lot of depth, so let's just put it that way. But just the risk of taking this. I come from a ranching and farming community. There ain't a drop of water down here. And this is happening throughout the state of New Mexico, the whole Southwest. I get these reports because I have drought insurance. Not only on this, not here in Questa, but in other parts of the state where I have ranches. And they have lost water. And I'm just saying, such a risk. I just don't understand it. This lady says that that we don't care for the community. We care for this community. Yeah, absolutely. That's why we're up here standing. This thing about it is just about the money. 200 and how many millions of dollars? Why can't we get those monies and put it for something that's really needed? Child care, gymnasiums for the elderly here, from Taos, Peñasco, Picuris, Pueblo, Questa, all kinds of other things we could use. I don't see why we couldn't use the money for something else. But it's part of this, for me, it's just a scam. Yeah. It's our tax dollars going to something that we don't want in the first place. And it's a bad deal for the community. Who would want to take that kind of a risk against your own children, your own grandchildren, your great-grandchildren? It's pretty bad. But anyway, I spoke my piece, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ortega. Anyone else for public comment?
I'll be quick. Just put in my 2 cents. My name is Adelita Mead. I'm a lifelong, well, born in Taos, raised here, come back. Anyway, I live here in Cerro, and I do a lot for my community, not just the Village of Questa, but I mean, just for everybody. You know, I work at the VFW. Well, I don't work there. I volunteer. Doing a lot of things, you know, because I care about people and kids and future generations. And I recently attended a political event for some guy in Mora County. He's running for governor. And, you know, the issue that people are bringing up all around New Mexico is the water. You know, we're in a historic drought. We're not going to get, you know, floods anytime soon that I know of. I hope we do. But Project Jupiter, you know, I was just doing a couple of researches. Like, there are over 110 water-intensive industrial water projects facing New Mexico right now. Not only that, but, you know, they're going after all our natural resources, uranium, you know, like, I mean, there's a lot of things that they want, you know, and who is it? Billionaires, you know, they want to get profit off the land, and we need to be stronger and stand up to them. So I do like the idea of maybe the Village of Questa sending out a text, a survey that everyone can get, so you guys can get data from all the, you know, people that live here. But not just, you know, what we're saying or what the other side is saying, but straight from your constituents. I think that's a great idea. And look forward to more meetings. These are getting very, very interesting. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Ortega. Anyone else for public comment?
So I hadn't planned on speaking, but I will now, and this is going to be short. My name is Mary Rose. Thank you for the opportunity to speak, council members and mayor. But when this project was originally proposed, like back in 2022, things have changed a lot since then. And one of them is that the climate of New Mexico, the Southwest, the Southeast, California, has changed. It's just taking New Mexico, we had an arid climate, it's gone to one of aridification, which means, and we are currently, Taos County is currently in a USDA declared disaster area because of extreme drought, along with 27 other counties in New Mexico. Why aren't there water restrictions in place? Why isn't there everybody on the news and in the newspapers saying we've got to conserve water now? The water is not an infinite resource, it is finite. And there's been overpumping by the OSC, allowed up to the water rights in wells, without that much regard for how much water is in the aquifers. And we can see people's wells are going dry, or they have to dig deeper for water. There are, the whole Southeast is under restrictions because the normal moisture is not getting down to the ground. It's too warm now. The temperature of the atmosphere has warmed, and there's a huge evaporation taking place with all of our water. We are in a global water bankruptcy. That is a fact. So please, please, consider the future generations. Consider this precious resource that we have, and we need to protect for the children. I got involved in this because I'm concerned for the children of Questa and surrounding areas. I've had a great life. I used to drink the water from the stream next to my house. It was no problem. Nobody ever thought about contamination or heavy metals that's gonna give you cancer or cause you to die. This plant is water intensive. It does not fit in the present time that we are now. So thank you very much. I appreciate your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Ruiz. Anyone else with public comment?
I'll give up my right as a citizen and a taxpayer of the Village of Questa. You, Mayor, want to suppress me from talking and saying what I need to say. I also am against this hydrogen project. I've heard all the stories from Chevron and everybody else. You don't even have a water permit. You don't even know where you're getting the water from. We asked for a FOIA request. We can't get one. Why? Because you're hiding it. But yet, you, Kit Carson Electric, wants to do business with the Village of Questa. I also am a taxpayer and a business owner in this community. And they're talking about grandkids and future grandkids. Let's talk about today. We're already out of water right now. I know a bunch of wells that are going dry right now without Chevron pumping 30 million gallons of water out of a well they don't even have access to. That's what we're talking about right now. This young gentleman here, Mr. Rael, is exactly on point. What you're doing is illegal. That's what you're doing is illegal. You can't be voting for your employer to make yourself money through the Village of Questa. That's not gonna happen. And for you, Mr. Rael, as a citizen, you guys want to suppress me as a councilman? Right now, I'm letting you know, there will be legal action. There will be legal action against the Village of Questa. Why do you?
Jessica, Jessica. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you for being here tonight.
Did you get accused of spousal abuse?
Me? I don't have a spouse.
Yeah, I know, that's why you left you.
It's one thing for her to yell.
You know that, right? Yep.
I don't have a spouse and I don't have spousal abuse. But you have mental disability. You don't work.
I have to listen to you. I have mental disability.
Oh, like your wife?
It's okay for you to have up and
Roll them out. All of you need to go.
Exactly.
You're protecting the people. They're all rotten. So sorry, ladies. You don't know what's going on. So I'm gonna talk.
So, yeah, we done.
So down.
Spousal abuse.